All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So I was going to go see Batman today. That was my plan. But instead, Diego Sanchez called me and he said he wanted to do an exclusive interview where we talked about his legendary performance on Friday and we talk about Josh Fabia because I have some great Fabia stories straight out of Diego's mouth. But first, we're going to talk about some of the most legendary information that I've ever heard because there's... I had no idea. I don't know if anybody knew what Diego was dealing with going into this fight. But if there's ever been a 40-year-old fighter who has done a better job cementing their legacy while fighting in a smaller show than the one that they did their entire career in, I've never seen it before. I've never seen someone do a better job cementing their legacy than Diego did the other night. He was fighting against an absolutely dead prime Kevin Lee, one of the most athletic fighters in the history of the sport. And I'm going to let Diego from his mouth tell you new information that you do not know, because I didn't know it, and it's going to blow your fucking mind. And it's going to just, again, make it absolutely bulletproof what a legend this guy is. And I am going to leave it at that. Now, also, like I said, I have some incredible Fabia stories straight from Diego's mouth about, Fabia getting beat up at a bar and the aftermath and how Diego believed that, why Diego believed that Fabia was the second coming, like Messiah. And that is actually related to him getting beaten up at a bar. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. But first, let's talk to this legend about his fight career and one of the most incredible performances of all time.
Hey, the real story behind this fight is what I did in recovering from COVID, man. I was in my deathbed, bro. You were messaging me. You were my boy. You were there for me when I was almost dying, bro. Like, I literally almost died. Double ammonia, double blood clots in the legs. Like, Ali hit me up. Ali Abdelaziz, he hit me up and he's like, Diego, he's like, Kevin Lee, EagleFC, we want to treat you like the legend you are. And I was like, I seen all the promotion out there and I seen the views and I seen the attention from the mixed martial arts community when Kevin Lee signed with EagleFC. And because he could have signed with PFL, he could have signed with Bellator, and he signed with EagleFC, and they made a big deal about it. And so I was like, this is gonna be something.
Yeah.
This is something real.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about working with Ali, working at Khabib, working with Eagle in general. And it sounds like that was the same for you, huh?
It was like God knocked on my door and said, all right, I got this opportunity for you. Are you ready? You're going to take it? And I'm like 2 weeks out of the hospital. Dude, I'm serious, bro. When I started my training camp, I went in to go do some jiu-jitsu and I rolled for not even 5 minutes, bro. I couldn't breathe, bro. My lungs, I couldn't breathe. I had to go outside, get fresh air. I was 195 pounds.
What month was that? What month was that?
That was this January.
Damn.
It was this January, brother. And so it was an incredible task I had in front of me. But I was like, you know what? You're Diego Sanchez. You're a legend. You could do anything if you put your mind to something. You could do anything. I was like, I'm gonna jump on this opportunity. I even stopped taking my blood thinners a month early. I got the hospital calling me for appointments and shit. And I'm like, nah. I was like, I'm doing this. I don't care. I'm making this shit happen. And I went out there and I made it happen, man. And yeah. I was and Kevin Lee is a phenom, and they call him the Motown Phenom for a reason. The dude has ridiculous talent. He's physically strong. He's a great wrestler, and he's athletically, he's a supreme athlete. Man, I went out there, I fought Kevin Lee, and that leg kick, that first leg kick that I threw, I set it up so perfect. It was so clean. That was a masterly performance right there with that leg kick. The way I set it up, I touched the gloves, I back circled, I threw the left hand, and I threw that right kick. I blew his ACL out with the first kick.
Dude, how much did you practice that sequence, that particular sequence? Because that was clean, dude. Clean.
I didn't really practice that sequence so much, but I learned it. In the preparations for Cowboy Cerrone, You know, I knew that he was a Cowboy was a good Muay Thai fighter, and I knew that his legs were a little stuck in the mud, like Connor said. So I went and I achieved my goal, and I did what I set out to do. But in the end of the day, man, Kevin Lee, he fucking fought the whole fight. He had some dominant moments in the fight, but I heard him. I heard him with the body kicks. I heard him with the liver kicks. I heard him with the punches. I heard him with everything. And if that was a 5-round fight, I would have been victorious for sure. Like, even if it was a 4-round fight, I would have came out and I would have finished him. He was on, and Kevin knows that he was running out of energy. I was only getting stronger. He had some good moments in the fight, but you know, I was getting stronger as the fight was going. I was finding my rhythm, finding my flow, and so now here we are. I cemented my legacy as a fighter. I did it on short notice. The fight camp was only 5 weeks. It was only
coming straight out of the hospital too.
Coming straight out of the hospital, and I had no team.
Well, that sets me up to ask about Fabio. We'll do that later. So I don't understand. You had no team?
I didn't have no team. I didn't have
this whole camp. You didn't have a team?
No, I didn't have no team the whole camp. All I did was hot yoga. I did hot yoga to make the weight because I was walking around 195, and I did hot yoga. And I had some friends that have a small jiu-jitsu gym called the War Room Jiu-Jitsu.
Dude, you look so good. I actually can't even believe you didn't have a team for this fight.
It literally is crazy. Like,
it's insane.
The whole mission was like me wanting to prove my martial arts skill set as like the master. Everything that I've learned throughout the career is my mastery of my martial arts skill set. And that's what I really wanted to show. And then I wasn't going to let anybody come in and just be like, take all the credit for my skill sets. And so I was like, no, I'm going to just do this myself. I'm going to be a real fucking warrior, Ronin, motherfucking samurai, and get out there and go get this victory myself and prove to the world that it was Diego Sanchez that went out there and did this. It wasn't a team. It wasn't Jackson Wink. It wasn't fucking nobody other than myself. The performance that I went out there and I put out, it was Diego Sanchez legacy martial arts. And I sold the shit out of this show.
No, dude. What you did is you sold your next fight. That's what you actually did. You sold your next fight. Dude, Kevin Lee's 29. He's one of the most athletic fighters in the history of the sport. He's in the dead center of his prime. And you're 40. You're coming off COVID. You didn't have a team. You had this huge hiatus, like this whole thing that happened before. I mean, yeah, dude, you sold your next fight. That's exactly what you did.
Very true. Very true. And you know that cutting down to 155, he was never at his true prime. At 170, he was too small. So at 165, that was the prime Kevin Lee. And this was the 40-year-old prime Diego Sanchez. And against all the circumstances of almost dying, not having a team, not having anybody really behind me except for myself and my wife and my family and my friends that are close friends. And after the whole Joshua Fabia ordeal, I freaking lost like at least 95% of all my friends. Like I went deep in the whole Fabia thing. And you know, that's a whole nother story. We'll do a whole podcast on that.
Well, so what would you say broadly about working with EagleFC as an organization?
You know, it's good to be with EagleFC, man. Their cage was a freaking amazing, bro. Like I never felt anything like that. The canvas was so like perfectly grippy, perfectly bouncy, and on top of that, the gloves were great. The experience was great, and Khabib Nurmagomedov, what he's doing with his vision is it's really something special, and it's going to grow because UFC is a great brand, a great mixed martial arts organization. But the truth of it is, man, it's all based from the root of greed. and from Sin City. It's from Sin City. It's from the root of greed, and Dana and the business blueprint that they got going. Yeah, it's worked to create billions, but at the end of the day, it's not based off honor, integrity, respect, and values. And so what Khabib is doing is he's coming to change that. That's why he doesn't have ring girls. He's not trying to sell sex. He's trying to go and allow fighters to go out there and be the samurai bushido way, and go out there and do combat.
Well, that's the end of video 1. And now I would encourage you to watch video 2, where we are going to dive into some Josh Fabia stories. But before we do that, let me just say one more time. The guy didn't have a team for this. He didn't have a team for this fight. He had no team. He had been hospitalized with COVID less than 2 months ago, 2 months ago. Okay. The guy's first training session back, he could only roll for 5 minutes. He fought Kevin Lee in his prime 2 months later and did what he did on Friday. And it looked better than he's ever looked. At least certain parts of his game. He is a legend. Now, let me be legendary, and you come listen to us talk about some Josh Fabia in the other video. Peace.